Hello, friends, and welcome back to part 2 of It's the First Time I Played Disco Elysium. As if that's, a series title I'm going with now or something like that. I enjoyed what I played of this last time very much. I was surprised, maybe surprisingly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. I thought I'd like it at least a little bit. I thought I'd be able to find things I liked about it. But I didn't expect to seamlessly enjoy it, intuitively enjoy it, and to not really find much friction that I didn't enjoy. So that was a pleasant and happy thing. Yeah, this is the second time I've played Disco Elysium for the first time. No, this is my first playthrough of the game. It's just my second session of my first playthrough. So, we have a mystery to solve. There is still a body hanging up, and it is now raining. I'm gonna see if there's any new news about that. He's still throwing rocks at it, as far as I can tell. Can we deal with the body?
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now.
Why is it so bad? Because it's rotting. Very low chance of endurance.
Active decay. It's okay to throw up, officer.
Yeah.
No one is judging.
Oh, well. We saw that last time.
Blow. Cop's gonna blow, Kuno.
Alright. I don't know that I can do much about this at the moment. Let's press tab. What do we have to interact with? We've got whatever this is on the ground.
There are several footprints in the mud, left
Oh.
by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here.
Right, that's a lot of pairs. Visual calculus. That's a pretty good odd. Or those are pretty good odds. I don't think you have one odd.
Maybe more than 12. No. 8 pairs of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn the sound back up now that we're into game. I have never failed a single check so far. I'm still nailing them. Go over them.
1. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 46.
I think this was like my specialization, right? That I'm very good at this.
2. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 44. 3. Hobnailed work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 43.
Hobnailed. That sounds very old school.
4. Standard work boot. Number 45 or 46.
Count more.
5. Another standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 44. 6. An aberration. Light as air. Even pace. Same make of boot, but number 41. Impossible to tell. Could also have been an adolescent. The gait is undeveloped.
Wow, you are good at visual calculus. Yeah. Is that Kuno?
You're not bad. It's as if the whole world darkens. Everything else has a thin film of unimportance on it.
I'll go through
and
my
the
list of
tracks
thoughts
burn
after
in
this,
the
yeah.
middle of it, in a strange, beautiful way.
That is loud enough, right?
7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot. Number 46. But the imprints are twice as deep as the others. The weight exceeds 200 kilograms. 8. And yet another standard work boot. Number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole, however. The right sole is smoother, more worn.
Does that imply a limp? If the right sole is smoother, maybe they drag their foot a bit on the right side?
How many?
400 million.
I was pretty off then. I counted 20.
The same guys are going back and forth.
I never got the hang of it. Hyperopia. Do you see anything out of the ordinary?
I like that we keep each other in check. I know some things, he knows some things, we work it out. And he, like, keeps me grounded because I go off the deep end. Was it, yeah, light step number 41? Thankfully, we've got this to refer to. Yeah, number 41.
A woman or a kid?
Could be a kid.
Okay. How do you know?
He said underdeveloped gait.
He knows it's hard to discern sex from a person's gait.
I'm just saying random things while looking at holes in the mud. I don't.
Understood. Anything
No,
else?
well, that's not very useful then. Just being honest. Heavy one, 200 kilogram imprint.
200? Could it be the combined weight of two people, one carrying the
Oh.
other who's tied up? Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built, soon-to-be-dead man.
Yeah, Kef guy chatted for a long time longer, so we just got to the game. Heavily built worker carrying a similarly built, soon-to-be-dead man. Oh, I have to remember now. There was something about moving from a location to another, right? That they took the clothes off, put them in the dumpster. Did they hang them before or after they were dead? Or do we know that yet? Also, we suspect it was possibly the garbage company that might have had a hand in this, because they're the only ones other than the hotel or hostel that had the key to the dumpster, and that's where we found the dead person's body, or clothes, rather.
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living
Sorry, it's been a
weight
week. I'm trying to
is
get it all back into my head.
unlikely.
Maybe I should play it more frequently than once a week, honestly, if I'm gonna forget everything every time. Yeah, probably it was carrying.
Possibly.
They were carrying
Yes.
them. Well, you were the one that suggested it, so well done. An aberration, one soul is smoother than the other.
Interesting. Let's name it the Old Soul.
Do you have any ideas?
Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor. Or maybe a drummer?
Drummer. I'm not sure I understand the drummer comment. Maybe he'll explain.
He regrets it the moment he says it.
But why, though? I don't know if it's stupid. I just want to hear their logic.
No, it's not.
I said,
Forget
so
I
one of the
said
people
it.
are
We
looking
not
for is a
looking
drummer.
for a drummer.
Oh, forget it. Okay. Like they wore their shoe out on a pedal. I feel like that's something you would only be able to guess if you had an intimate knowledge of drum pedals yourself. Is the implication that Kim is a drummer, so that's why he knew that.
Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out their right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's actually pretty clever. Nod thoughtfully.
We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. Seems prudent.
I guess
no?
it could have been that he was joking. Yeah, his humor seems to be rather sedated. Doesn't make it less funny, it's just I'm not always clued into when he's telling a joke as opposed to being serious. Kind of a straight-faced comedian. Yeah, seems prudent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even serious people can tell an occasional dry joke. You know, the Bill Murray effect. Although he's not a very serious person. How old do you think these tracks are?
A week, maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller, who reported the hanging.
I think this character is the type to throw stuff out, and if it doesn't land, try to play it off as humor. Mm-hmm.
It is not impossible.
I feel like, do we actually know that, or are we retroactively deciding that as a result of the decay of the body? I think you'd have to take into account the weather right? How many times has it rained and then the mud has moved around? Or, like, how solid is the mud right now?
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Revachol.
All right, we're on the same
below
page.
freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day.
Uh-huh. So if there was no chance of it being muddy when the person was hanged, then these footsteps happened after the fact. Which would probably lead more to a thought that it has something to do with the moving stuff around adjacent to the body, and or maybe the part where the clothes ended up in the dumpster.
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week.
Oh, did I just get the wrong information out of that? The day of his hanging was the last warm day. 7 days below freezing the day before. Okay.
What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree.
Yeah.
Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching.
People love standing in a semicircle.
Indeed. They all stood in a row here and looked at the tree.
We've been through all of it. Okay. Well, that was interesting. I love how much you can read into psychology in that by the way you analyze a crime scene. What's this little bin over here? Oh. Magnesium and some money. I don't know how stealing works in this setting, if that matters or anything. Or is this like a video game where you can just take anything you find? I feel like it's meant to be more realistic than that. Oh, there's no stealing. Oh, I guess I'll take it then. You see why that strikes me as a bit odd, right? Like, this game seems to model every action as being important. So I would have thought, like, that's an especially important action. Right, we're cops, and we can do whatever we want, is the idea. They did say that before, like, cops kind of get their own privileges here. Well, I know you're half joking, but you're also not in the context of the game, right? You can wield your authority over people in this. Okay, now what? You said you wanted me to look at thoughts? Rigorous self-critique. Temporary research bonus. -1 to authority. Embarrassment to the party research 6 hours. You're one sorry piece of shit. A cop penitent, a flagellant cop monk. This is not the right line of work for you. You should be groveling at the feet of a feudal lord, providing lurid evidence against yourself at a Mazovian show trial, or ripping the flesh off your back with a cat o' nine tails. Whatever made you this way, you can be damn sure it was your own fault. Do it. Really criticize yourself. Who knows? You might uncover something of importance from your guilt-ridden past. Yeah, I don't have any more slots, unfortunately. It says, unlock a new slot to research the thought. How do I do that? Oh, I have to spend a skill point. I guess I should do that, right? Where does it say how many skill points I have? The more things you can do at the same time, the more it pays off later, so probably better to do it sooner. Alright, so we got a nice bit of research done there. Throw another save down. It shows the icon as of a skill point instead of number, I think. Oh, okay. I'm assuming I just had the one then. Inspect the victim's body. Oh, so I can't do that, really, because I'm too ill. I don't have enough money. I don't know where my badge is. Who else has unauthorized access to the whirling trash? We tried that. Couldn't find anybody yet. Keep searching for the caller despite lacking any obvious leads. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna find that now. Find a sufficiently tragic tape played on the boombox to memorize the lyrics, then ask the cafeteria manager to perform, preferably in the evening, more people at the bar. You have no idea where you are. Lena encouraged you to ask others to explain the world to you in greater detail. Perhaps try a rich person. Rich people are educated. Track down your gun. Someone must know something about your lost firearm. Maybe a district authority, like someone high up in the union, or someone local who saw you with it before you passed out, like the whirling absent bartender. You could also ask the local pawn shop. I don't know where the pawn shop is. Map. We don't have any. I have to find a map. Can I just walk around? What's this? Do you have a map?
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
A young girl with chubby red cheeks waves at you, smiling. Her nose is also red from the cold. Hello.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
She stomps her feet to feel warmer. Is it okay if I ask you some questions?
Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
What is your name?
My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store.
Wow, that's
She's
an
inside
awesome name.
minding the
I've never heard
register
that name
or
before.
organising the stock.
Plaisance. It sounds so fancy.
Feel free to step in and browse our wares.
And you're standing out here in the cold because?
I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
You got a map in there?
A sudden gush of wind turns the pages of the books on the counters. She covers her face, smiling.
You're cold.
But
Can I
she's
help in
cold.
some way?
Kind of you to offer, sir.
She doesn't know what else to say.
What could you do to help her anyway?
I could help by brutally dismantling the free market. I should have a word with the store owner, maybe.
Oh, no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep warm.
Shouldn't you be at school or something? What is romance? Who are these famous people?
Kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them.
She scratches her cold reddened cheek, then continues. Wait, do rubber gloves keep you warm in any meaningful way? I don't think they do. I guess by virtue of there being another layer between your skin and the air, you'll insulate yourself to a degree.
I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
The secrets of fame.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
Well, maybe they need to read them better and harder. Doesn't make them famous, does it?
But it does make the famous people more famous.
Oh, good. That's what they need. These famous people sound like a bunch of dorks.
Annette's expression remains ever so helpful, but she doesn't say anything.
Never mind, I literally had nothing else to say.
Okay.
She looks at you with her wide eyes. Okay, that's probably enough for Annette. I don't want to bother her. Let's try inside, I guess. I didn't know I could just walk wherever I wanted. I thought I was kind of like bound to the area directly around the crime for the moment.
Welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. My name is Plaisance.
It's a cool name.
Be welcome. And please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
Alright, that's a strange thing to say, but sure.
A golden pendant hangs around the woman's neck in the shape of what looks like a tiny fish head trapped in amber.
A fish head in amber? That's very odd. Curious pendant you're wearing. I can only think of that right now.
Oh yes, helps to have an anchor in these times.
An anchor? Are you a ship? Okay, so are you the owner?
I am! The proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
Her voice is high-pitched, as if to give it more penetration.
She has fine-tuned her voice to find the most welcoming approach for attracting new customers. It doesn't work.
Your daughter's the one standing outside the store, right?
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl?
Yes, of course.
Wonderful! Did you talk to her?
Yes.
Great! On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her?
Is this a job satisfaction survey?
Her opinion of her daughter depends on how well she lured you into the store.
She's very polite and helpful. 10.
My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette.
I'm here to dismantle the free market and abolish child labor. The way you're handling her strikes me as wrong.
Mind your own business, sir. In our society, people don't get to tell each other how to raise their children. It's none of your or anyone's business.
Then I'm here to dismantle the free market and abolish child labor.
There's nothing like that happening.
How much do you pay the kid?
Good, sir. What does a young child do with money anyway? No, I save it for her as a fund. She's securing her financial future
So
out
you have
there.
a free worker then, is what you're saying?
Such criminal behavior would not happen in more developed countries.
In more developed countries, this sort of thing is 2 felonies: child labor and slavery.
Those countries will realize they've raised a lazy and spoiled generation.
Oh, lovely.
Are we done with the jokes now?
Her tone is decisive, not at all angry at the insinuation. Are we done?
Yes, we've had quite enough fun here. Right.
Kim.
The woman before you scans the store, her shoulders rigid and tense. Every now and then, she nudges her glasses.
What if I want to buy a book?
Then why are you talking to me? Everything is on the shelves to browse. Don't you feel compelled to buy anything? See those shelves there? Go. Be drawn.
I mean, most of the time, if you try to look at anything, they want to talk to you, so I thought I was just cutting out the middleman. What types of books do you have?
Everything is on the shelves. Take a look yourself. The shelves compel you.
I'm a very
don't they?
particular type of customer that I'm sure you've dealt with before in your general life.
She's attempting to mentally direct you towards the shelves. She only wants you to buy the goods. She doesn't care about the books.
Do you even know what books you have for sale?
Truth be told, not really. My sister brings in most of the goods. I'm sure it's all very literary stuff with well-written prose.
Huh, I thought you were super into books.
But you don't learn about the important things in life from fabricated stories.
Yes, you can. What are you talking about? Where do you learn the important things then?
Truth is available if you just know where to look, and you have to open and free your mind to understand.
What are you talking about? You have to open and free your mind? Alright, I'll take a look
She
then.
smiles and nods, seemingly relieved.
I've run out of options. Farewell for now, book peddler. Lowly book peddler. Okay, what kind of books should we buy? Old sports magazines? Nah, probably not into those. This, the book collects the national recipes of Arda. Okay. Very specific.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
I love Wirral-related merchandise. What do you have?
An endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table.
Oh, I like a good
The
codices.
topmost book
Codex.
is titled Welkin Compendium, 2nd edition. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Katawak, Boreal
Katawak.
Creature Compendium, and a Pick Your Path adventure game book titled
Oh, I knew a
Tales
Borat of the
Wirral,
Boreal Valley at
Cavern
one
of
point.
Velkrag. Books in a board game section? Who wants to read books?
Anything that really catches my eye?
There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition mega setting supplements module.
Whoa.
The side panel notes, a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays 25 real.
Alright, let's engage with the shopkeep again.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for sure, or perhaps you'd like Archipelagos of Insulinda, a very educational
It sounds
game
nice
for
when you
those
say it like
interested in
that.
geography.
I can't say I'm terribly interested in geography, but it does have my interest a little.
Browbritter is a fun game of economic competition.
What about
that can
Frobisher?
get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children.
Oh, do I have children? I didn't even ask.
Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends or family?
Wow, what an interesting way of them probing into this aspect of the character. I really didn't see that coming, but here we are. I have children, a family?
It certainly feels like
Oh, my
whatever you
morale
are
has been
will
damaged.
die with you.
Whatever you are will die with you. Look at me, who'd want to have children with me?
Don't be so hard on yourself, sir. You just need to clean up a bit. And technically, friends are a bit like family.
Can we be friends, Plaisance?
For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization.
Oh, perfect.
Then set off to brutally colonize and repress other civilizations. It'll cost 12 real.
I better not tell her that I only have 0.2 real. What about all these?
Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types.
Oh no, those
You
ones.
know, who are into those kind of things. Personally, I don't like it. Not at all.
Not at all.
I've heard they turn people
Sorry.
into occult enthusiasts. That they have rituals where they try to summon entities. Highly immoral stuff. You can still buy them, though.
I am very much enjoying the voice acting here. So much so that I forgot how sentence structure works on multiple occasions. Gift books and molten candy. Does that just mean hard candy? Never heard it described as molten. It's back here. Crimes? Are you hiding
You see
crimes?
a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Oh yeah, what does that mean that I have 0 HP now? Am I dead?
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
What's behind there?
Now, please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books?
Oh, I have
books
1
are all
HP
you
and
care
0 healing
about.
items. I have my orange bar. Okay. So if you kick a hard object, you might die.
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put a spell.
Yeah, it does
on
seem
you.
like that, doesn't it? She's trying
Urging
to
you to
force
buy
me into it.
books.
Like, wave your hand and these are not the droids you're looking for kind of force.
Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become.
I have noticed that, yeah, in life, when someone arduously forces me away from something, I want to do it more. What is this cage-like trinket?
You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron.
Oh, I love
assembled
those.
From bones, sticks,
Oh.
and straw. Inside, a disturbing fish
That's
head
very
with
odd.
empty eye sockets stares at you.
I want to be the type of person who can recognize and call out when I see one, an irregular polyhedron. That's not the description I would use, but I want it to be.
This is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams, curses, and other supernatural scourges.
Alright, tell me about the Seminese.
Inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme, the Seminine Islands down south.
Cool. The Isle of the Phantom.
Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fishhead charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you.
Alright, well, I won't destroy her shop for my own entertainment yet. Maybe we'll get a reason to later. I know I'm just pulling the curtains, but I feel like it's gonna lead to something else. Quaint picture book brochure, very colorful. Tome of Fascist Magic? I don't know what that even means. Another boring book just discarded here.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
Oh. Yeah, tell me about these, please, shopkeep.
Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf.
What?
That wisdom is not for free.
What are you talking about? I thought I was allowed to browse.
I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no!
What? A police store?
Amidst the
I looked
various
through the
books,
shelves.
you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance.
Dundas sounds like a meme name.
These three things are very important to the working class mind.
I love how much success I'm finding.
The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay. You gotta, like, grind up rhinoceros penises or something. How does that work?
It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to, and which costs more than this book, is garbage.
Oh, okay.
And would only give you cancer anyway.
Pipeline to the alt-right.
Cold or anything. Wholeness, unity, balance. On the other hand,
You gotta stick a piece of quartz in your hoo-ha.
Though it is important to note, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place.
No. My mind didn't manifest bacteria or viruses. I'm so tired of science illiteracy. Does this book say anything else?
The book features chapters on topics such
Zen.
as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from. How to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver.
No, don't do that.
And
don't continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed your liver. That's really bad advice. I don't know about the magnesium thing. Like, you do need magnesium, but I don't know. Maybe don't do that.
There's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply.
What?
Nothing worth buying.
The hell does duck gallbladder have to do with that?
This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this?
It's very good, Zen. I'm enjoying it thoroughly, yeah. I thought I would like it a little bit, but I'm liking it a bit. Okay, Inland Empire 97. If I fail this, I will be amazingly shocked.
The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf.
It's me for real.
Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pearl.
I think what's really carrying it is both the characters and the writing of the characters. So, like, all permutations of writing and characters. The visuals and the art style are lovely as well. And the interactivity is very good. The soundtrack's also fantastic. I guess they don't really have any negatives yet. I guess I wish time didn't pass while I'm reading, but that's okay. They have a reason for that. Yeah, what's the pale?
The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for granted.
Oh yeah, the voice acting's also fantastic.
The book contains descriptions of various pseudo-scientific therapies.
I really appreciate
alternative
this narrator,
medicines,
too.
and folk remedies involving
This narrator
the
is
pale,
doing
also
the freaking
known as
Lord's work,
le
keeping me
territoire.
interested here. I love his voice, and if I had to read all this, not saying there's anything wrong with lots of reading, but I think I would have eventually tuned out. I'm way more focused on what's actually happening thanks to him reading it for me.
For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik, or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near pale.
I actually know about that. Yeah, you get your... You go to you get smoked out, way too hot, and they beat you with the birch branch and then you jump in the cold water, right? Isn't that the way it works? Sounds invigorating.
It is, and good for the circulation, too.
What else?
It also recommends consuming distilled spirits, like vodka or whiskey, that have been aged in the pale. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pale, and leave them there for 30 to 60 days, depending on the potency desired.
Oh, yeah. I'm a 60 days man. And what does this pale-aged liquor do?
Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore
No,
a
it
damaged
doesn't.
liver to perfect health.
No, it doesn't. Stop that. How is that possible? It's not.
Is it any more improbable than anything else that human beings
Hi,
put their
Nibon.
faith in?
Is it any more improbable than anything else that human beings put their faith in? Yes. It is all improbable. What else is
For
there?
general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pale, though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour.
Well, strolls are good for your health. There's nothing wrong with taking a walk.
These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude.
Oh.
Nudity figures prominently in a number of these prescriptions.
Well, nudity isn't really going to change any of this, but, you know, have fun if you want, so long as you're not hurting anyone. It's not going to clean you of toxins. It will take your worries away because you'll be worrying about being naked in public, probably, but that's more of a societal thing. And really, I think I'd prefer to live in a society where people don't really care if someone's naked, and it's really not that big a deal, because we all have nakedness somewhere.
This is exactly what you need.
Anything else of note?
There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
Oh, no. I certainly don't need that.
You close the book and return it to its place on the shelf.
Yeah. Right, sweating, I guess, will help with... I hate using the term removing toxins, but I guess, like, literally that is true. I don't think it's true in the way that they mean it, though. Everyone knows the most interesting thing about fascists was their magic. That might be true. Alright, well that was a fun jaunt through the bookstore. I think that's all we can look at for now, unless she has anything else to say.
Hello again, esteemed officer.
She does
and
not.
Welcome to crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
I was really just hoping for a map. I was sure there'd be a map here. I was incorrect. So I spoke to your mom, and...
Hello again, sir.
She doesn't care. No. There is a map in there, I'm pretty sure. Really? I just missed it. Oh, what the heck? Where is it? I thought I looked at everything. Did I not click on this one?
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular,
just didn't look at this one.
sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles contain the word Hyamdall
Oh, on the wall.
somewhere. Rows and rows of Hyamdalla men blur your vision. You make out some titles. Man from Heimdall and the Mammoth Riders. Man from Heimdall, Return to Heimdall. And the solipsistic Man from Heimdall and the Heimdall Man.
That is not something I would associate with being solipsistic, but maybe I missed some context there.
Maybe 100.
100?
Man from Heimdall and the sages at the end of the world. Man from Heimdall and the false god. Man from Heimdall and the scorched earth.
We'll just
Man
listen to
from
these for a while.
Heimdall, the Heimdall colonies. Man from Heimdall and the swamp beast. Man from Heimdall and the snow crabs. Not even close. Man from Heimdall in hell. Man from Heimdall
in hell.
And the forest of slaves. Man from Heimdall.
This is a huge
under
series.
The lake. Man from Heimdall. Heimdall burning. There's even The Trial of Death, a pastoral combat game book set in the world of Heimdall Man, and so much more.
Imagine they did a spin-off, and some author writes 50 Heimdall Man books.
Oh, Man from Heimdall. A very popular series of adventure novels. They're awfully immoral and violent books.
Okay. Yeah, she doesn't like them. She looks at them with disdain. Why are they so popular?
Blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encounters. They're bound to grab those with little imagination and nothing to do.
Sounds good. Which one should I start with?
What does it matter? They're all the same. However, the customer is always right, they say.
You're not supposed to tell them that, usually.
If you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Heimdallaman, the Man from Heimdall. It's supposed to be a good introduction to the series.
Low pain threshold, medium 10.
Nothing of interest.
No.
Only silence and the cosmic background pain radiation.
Leave. That's my first failed check. I think that was a fine one for it to be a fail. Alright, where's this map? It's there. It's obviously there.
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinaise.
I'd like the map of Revachol, please.
The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river.
That's change over time.
It is the River Esperance. Countless bridges put the shards back together, connecting city blocks to river islands. La Delta says a great artificial heart in the center, teeming with life forms and construction.
Is that why they call it a river delta? Because rivers always change over time.
To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie, the suburbs of Saint-Baptiste, swallowed up into the megacity.
Please just read
They
names
sound
into
rich
my
to you.
ears. It sounds so good.
This is Revachol East.
And west of the river?
Hudon, it's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People
That's
shouldn't
where I'm
live
from, I
there,
think.
but
Jamrock?
they do. Then Forberg. It's almost as bad and much larger. Then Coal City. It's the worst.
Oh, because they're named after the Greek symbol. I liked my version. It sounded so smart. No, I didn't change my clothes other than put them on. I did wear the gloves at one point. I seem not to be wearing them now, so I must have taken them off. In Martinaise?
It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is. North of Jamrock. The strip of coast next to the Greater Revachol Industrial Harbour. It looks downright despondent. It's almost Coal City, to be honest. No, this is somewhere to be. This is all you have. But it's still something. Streets and sodium lights, the sky, the world. You're still alive.
Are sodium lights the ones they use on boats and in theater? Are they all the same thing? I thought I've heard that term a few times. I can't remember where, though. Can Can I buy these?
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinaise is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore.
Why?
And besides, you could scarcely afford
Can
them.
we not make a print of them?
They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinaise is 90 cents, though.
Why is that one cheap?
That old thing. It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be.
What a wild thing that was at one time, where you could, like, go to an island and draw the outline of it and then sell it.
From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago, they also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps.
Yeah, you gotta renovate the horse statue some of the time. Low-pressure sodium lamps are highly efficient electrical light sources, but their yellow light restricts applications to outdoor lighting, such as street lamps. Right, thank you.
The place does not look like
I thought I heard about them
successful
on boats
tourist
for
trap,
some reason.
does it?
They didn't get that far, for some reason.
Oh, I
A
can
shame,
steal
the
it.
project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinaise up. All these ruins are bad for business.
Let's look at the map of Insulinde.
This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is
An ocean of insulin.
You are here. Another far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ile de Fantôme. Ozon, Laurentide, Fas Alamir,
He's doing the thing again.
Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the
Wild
Insulindic.
arcade.
On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white.
I wonder if they have that one arcade game that Ashens is always seeking.
Disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. It's you.
Squint first. Can you see cities on the islands?
You can on Caillou, Revachol, a
Caillou.
single black star on Ozon, Fondelier, and Vilmandu on archipelagos, Croyan Moran, Villiers, on Seminary.
Then I guarantee you that's a great joke and I don't know it. I don't get the reference.
Of the Seven Seas. Lost little pearls of light, tiny fires in the dark.
I'm not sure what's happening anymore. I'm just looking at a map, right?
850 million people live
Oh.
on these little dots. An oceanic world of culture and commerce torn apart by history.
Pancreas humor, right, okay.
The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Windy is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seo is the west azimuth. Isolas, they're called. Connections to other worlds. Words past the Insulindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large compared to you, and very, very far away.
Are a lot of these lines only coming up because of all these checks I seem to be passing due to my specialization? I feel like most people aren't going to see all this stuff, but because I picked what I picked, I'm getting way more info.
Perhaps they are
Because it's
gods,
so
gods
specific.
Of distance and outer dust. It's not really a map. It's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it, drawn from an isometric perspective. A date in the upper right corner says 48.
Okay.
Still, it's detailed.
I want to go to the arcade island.
For scouting ahead. You see the jagged boxes of an industrial harbor, even the whirling in rags there.
Oh, I've been there. I'm not going to steal from anyone. Yet. I just wanted to get a map, but apparently you can only look at the map, not get it. I didn't know there were such precious commodities, these maps. I need to make more money. Oh. Didn't know there was water right here. If you had a bag in your hand, perhaps you could collect these bottles and sell them. Oh, I don't think I have a bag, do I? I have tools. I used to have gloves. They seem to be not here anymore. Oh, they're there. Gloves. There's my mug. My ugly mug. What's this? The ad reads broken window. Tibbs has windows. I'm sure Tibbs does.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible.
Poor little viewer.
The
Pats
metal
it.
feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic.
Vandalism. Shake your head.
Probably some kids.
The lieutenant inspects the rigged slot. Look inside.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk written on the other side, with N and C scribbled backwards.
Shift your focus.
Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky weather-worn wooden planks, an X-shaped cross topping its tower.
I thought it doesn't allow you to look out of it unless you put a coin in it.
You know this to be the star of Paranatural.
Or they're saying the gum
The
keeps it,
central symbol of the
you know, on
Paranatural
all the
church,
time.
a star, a great moral height to be strived towards. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows. Around the large wooden building,
It said
you see
look
chunks of
inside,
sea
so I
ice
presumed we were
gathered on
looking
the
through
beach,
it.
and a small tent set up on the ice.
What about this one? Also rigged?
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle.
I don't have that
while
kind of
looking
money.
Inside. Then use the focus knob to zoom in if necessary.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not rich enough to look through some binoculars. Oh, bottles I still don't have a bag for. Bird! A lonely cormorant surveys the sea, indifferent to your approach. Nice bird. There's a boat. I worry about the flooding this place must see. Inside the frame of a motorcycle in repair and the tools used to disassemble it. There's a girl up there. Did she spill the paint?
Hey, up here, Pigo.
Capeside Apartments. Rue de Gislaine, north, roundabout north. Can I get up to you? Or maybe I could talk to you from here.
The streets will flow red once more.
Whoa.
A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
Cindy the Skull. The girl stares at the sailboat by the pier.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
We don't need to do all that. No need to get defensive. We just want to know your name.
And here I was trying to be polite. Just can't win with you pigs.
Despite the sass, she puts the brush aside.
She's grown frustrated with her work and welcomes the opportunity to challenge authority in other ways.
You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at?
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms.
She nods disdainfully towards the woman performing maintenance on the boat docked to the pier.
Hatred, disgust, It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Revachol. Its moneyed residents, used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques, rarely have reason to visit Martinaise.
So who is she?
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet.
He's a good strategist.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to Ozon.
What are you doing to the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
Why are you so committed to facing this building?
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know, summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation.
Okay. I have an opinion on this. Want to hear it?
Yeah?
Actually, I don't have an opinion. I lied. Yeah.
Lying is cool, I guess.
Yeah, lying's awesome. Should always lie. Never ever tell the truth. And then when people know that you're lying all the time, then they'll just believe the opposite of what you say. You know anything about the recent murder?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
There is a bit of a shortage, because nobody's talking to us.
Actually, there is a shortage of
See?
people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative
Have you talked to that
manner.
kid that throws rocks at the corpse all day? Kuno? They're really not very pleasant.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
Catch you later, Cindy.
Watch your back, ungulate. You've got eyes
Ungulate.
on you.
What a name. The belly of this boat shines like it was recently painted. Well, it's not red, so I know who didn't paint it. Docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A. Okay, permission to come on board, Captain?
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat,
Joyce.
smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
You never know what a boat person's gonna be like.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce.
She extends her hand in greeting.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
What gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
Shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here.
Her grip is tight and cold.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will. Gladly.
Right.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
You can't just say very unusual and leave it there.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. This is a tactic.
Also, would you expect her grip not to be cold? She's just driven a boat around. Like, obviously you're gonna be kind of cold.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
We love the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
You seem rich. Can I have some money? Kim did say to throw her off.
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy.
Oh.
Is it?
Wait, why not?
Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub.
What nice fabrics, what lustrous hair. She has silk, so fabrics?
Why, yes. Tucked away under that sturdy green raincoat, almost rustic in its simplicity, a silk shirt and matching scarf around her gentle throat.
What a gentle throat.
While dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry. Wealth and all its possibilities.
Okay. I don't feel like you're disproving what I was saying.
These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to say everything is possible.
Very interesting. Yeah, so?
Now look at you. You misery-clad simian. Barely able to tie your own laces. Your
armpits are lakes.
A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead and your underwear feels uncomfortable.
Okay.
You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too...
What is this feeling? I've never felt it before. I'm a goddamn working man. I'm not ashamed to shake this leech for some dough. As I should be for even considering it. This is a woman and I'm a man. Yes, I should make my own goddamn money by now.
Maybe you could ask her for some stock tips. That's a maybe. Or a job. But you're sure as hell too ashamed to ask for cash. Buddy.
You're poor as balls.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
I'll take those odds. Can I have some money?
I am sorry.
No!
It just doesn't come out of your mouth. What does
Oh
is
no, what is it?
surprisingly eloquent, really. The last one, not the first three. Those are ape speak.
Enough. Kick. Money? I am the scum of the earth.
My. Why'd you say that?
'Cause I'm gunk.
That's garbage. You're a police officer.
No, I'm not. I'm gunk.
Shall we talk about something else, maybe?
Oh no, it's locked now. What can you tell me about the lynching?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
Did you know I'm gunk?
The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets.
Secret task.
For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Oh, I have one of those. Did I get... Oh, I forget if I got my badge number when I was calling in.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
She returns the lieutenant's badge and turns to you.
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
Remember when my partner told you I recently suffered from an unusual medical episode? My lost badge is related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
It's possible. After a night of heavy drinking, I lost all memory of my life and the world. I could have eaten it for all I know. I don't remember anything. This world, this city, nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
Yeah, it's pretty unpleasant. Don't even know where I live.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCA.
No, he is gunk.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Well, what if I just leave and my partner gets the information?
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
How do I negotiate my way out of this? Then I'll find it somehow. Let's talk about something else. How do I negotiate my way out? +1 sympathy for amnesia, yeah? Do it.
She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuate.
Surely there's some other way to demonstrate our law enforcement credentials.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
Okay.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Like what?
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinaise. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones.
Oh, so I have to act on someone else's behalf to get this information.
Or you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Well, we're hoping that we can get the gun back. Yeah, maybe the badge is a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Okay, excuse me for a moment. I didn't know I could do that.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
How did you hope it would go?
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman.
Oh, so we're henchmen now.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
We could just, find my badge.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters. You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months.
Okay. Yeah, I did kind of want to do that. I didn't know it would take months. What do you propose that we don't investigate the drug trafficking?
If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it.
Oh, so it's like not even to do with the badge. She just used that as leverage to get us to do a thing we had to do anyway. So, kind of, sort of not my fault, right?
What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
Okay.
I'm sure you will, Detective.
Yeah. Said sorry for putting us in the situation. I'll handle it. Let's get back to her then. The room in the whirling isn't much bigger than this sloop. I've been hearing... Is it sloop people have been calling AI art sloop lately? It's like slop and poop put together. This is worth more than you'll ever earn in your whole life.
You're back.
Lovely.
Good. What can I help you with?
Okay, tell me about this alleged drug trafficking.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samar and Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics.
Jesus.
Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Never even heard of some of those things. Let me get this straight. The materials come from Samara to Revachol through the terminal.
Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wildpine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut.
Okay, and you want us to
Yes,
investigate.
but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
We're gonna need bolt cutters for this?
Unlikely, officer. I'm talking about the lorries. Once the ingredients reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they may be vulnerable.
This sounds like a very big investigation for 2 people.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about.
Okay.
One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment. I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
And what if I come back with my badge? Will we just not have to do this anymore? Why didn't you come to the RCM earlier?
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently,
Oh.
there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
Well, we're working together now, so...
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers.
It's no coincidence the lorries are stranded like that, is it?
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries.
Oh, I see.
However,
Are you Grand Theft Auto 3ing me right now?
this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue.
Oh, so these people could be there for literally days until I push the story forward.
Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
So many things keep pouring onto the streets. There's so much liquid terminology around things.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What about all the red paint pouring onto the streets of Revachol?
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, I feel like I'm becoming a pawn to another thing. What proof do you have the unions involved?
How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
What is there really to keep a union under check, like overhead-wise? I know the union keeps the business in check, and the government might also keep the business in check, but does the government keep the union in check? Is that the big problem here, that unions just get out of control when there's corruption in them?
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
So you think the strike is being funded with source ingredients for drugs?
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
And how hard could that be?
It sounds like
I'm so
she tried
charismatic.
looking into it herself, but she's clearly not the type your typical lorryman would confide in.
We already have some suspicions that one of the drivers was present at the lynching. Right, the one who was driving for the trash collection.
The two might even be connected.
Yeah, could be a hierarchical crime.
Or not. Though, if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm eager to hear it.
Right, and then me assuming that might actually be a folly, because I don't have any reason to believe that, just that there are two crimes, so why connect them?
As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job is done.
But what if you sharing the information allows me to complete the thing you want me to do? Okay, I've made my mind up.
Yes?
We will take the case, probe the drivers, see what it yields.
Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something.
Only 3?
It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need.
I wonder, though, does that mean actually for 3 more days? Or any amount of days that necessitates keeping it up? I don't know if their words have consequences with regard to the passage of actual time in the game or not.
In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
You seem smart. I need someone to give me a lowdown on this reality we're in. Yeah, that one.
This reality?
Oh, actual time, you believe. Interesting. She pulls her hood closer around her neck.
Yes, reality is your side case.
My thought did tell me I should speak to someone rich.
An experimental side case.
Hey, thanks very much. I appreciate you picking up the Adult Swim bundle on Humble. That was very nice of you to do that. It's a decent deal, I'd say. You're getting quite a lot of good stuff there. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm conducting a personal investigation into the world. It's related to that medical episode. I'm having trouble remembering even the most basic terms of reality. Let's do that.
Ah, yes. The episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy, now that I think of it.
Does she remind you a little bit of Sigourney Weaver? She puts down her thermal cup and looks at you.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all
Guess I
of
see that too.
reality.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help
Just
however
explain
I can.
all of reality to me, please, if you don't mind. Let's start at atoms. No, quarks. You got anything smaller than quarks? Please explain all of it.
All right.
Quantum
We're in.
physics.
I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Quantum entanglement. Where are we? What times are these? What is this acute encephalopathy? Encephalopathy. Jesus, I never used to have trouble with words this badly. Legendary Esprit de Corps. What is... Think of something close to you. What are you? What is this? Spread your hands. What is reach for something fundamental? Okay, what is this?
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
I meant, what is this place here?
Ah. This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislaine, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or 2.
Okay, what is that?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments.
Oh.
After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
She does seem good at this explaining thing.
This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
And that's after the Greek letter, not change over time. Just to get that straight. I'm telling her that.
Mostly the
Who
urban
lived in
middle
them?
class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off.
Huh. Didn't expect to hear the word primo. Talks about the cannons, though.
Splat, splat.
From a dilapidated balcony, Cindy the Skull gives Joyce the evil eye, her red paintbrush held to her throat.
Wonderful.
Yeah, tell me about acute encephalopathy.
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
It's a good point, actually. Is there a doctor somewhere around? Maybe I should actually talk to a doctor.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deeply in the condition of this doomed detective. In case he goes down later, souring the entire portfolio.
What causes encephalopathy?
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
It's definitely the drinking.
She nods slowly.
Yes, and perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie, out in the open somewhere.
Wow, horrific necktie. I didn't expect that. Yeah, what is that, Cindy the Skull?
The girl in the old lady rags.
Yes.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture. Okay.
Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the
in-group,
radio,
out-group.
the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags.
So who's right?
She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
But now, couldn't you also say the same in reverse? How do you know that yours, I guess just owing to the majority, is the actual true one, if you're gonna frame it like that, which I don't really like framing it like that. I understand everything, make it more complicated.
I can't.
Oh.
That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead.
Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. I wish I could ask her to expand on that more.
What next?
She pauses to take a long, leisurely sip of tea.
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
I think I may be part of an infraculture.
And what would that be?
Cop.
She lets out an unrestrained laugh, the crow's feet stretching onto her cheeks.
Cop culture.
My reality-impaired colleague is not so far off.
The lieutenant wanders back into the conversation. He's been sorting his notes.
Many of the RCM's fashions, even weapon preferences, borrow heavily from classic Vespertine cop shows. My precinct alone has 3 officers who go by the name Ace.
I did not expect that this would be a critique of the cop aesthetic. That's very interesting as a concept to bring into this conversation.
But please, do continue this reality exploration. I was just remarking.
Yes, let's.
Surprised she's willing to indulge me with all this. What are you?
What I am not is a basic term of reality.
Okay. That doesn't really tell me all that much.
There may be a way to get her speaking about herself at some later
Thank you,
juncture.
Rhetoric.
Everyone wants to talk about themselves. She will, in time.
Well, if she's very good at conversation and it's part of her job to be, then she might be able to deflect more than I could. What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Damn, that's close. Too late for what?
For the big time.
Oh, there's a flash of teeth. What's the big time?
The revolution.
The big top. Ha! And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
That's a great word for it. It's just a silly kerfuffle. Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head.
Uh-huh. So it's like Squid Game.
She's not gloating. It's a relieved celebration.
Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Well, they do say that the victors get to write history, right? So did the communists and the anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Truly a kerfuffle.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
The lieutenant mumbles from behind his notes.
Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it.
Hell of a term for that. Anyone else get shot in the head on the opposing side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ.
You'd think you could figure that out, but
unceremonious. Right. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew.
So why did we shoot him in the head or throw him beneath a horse or drown him?
The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
I don't care about kings. Tell me one more thing.
About head shooting?
Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
And by liberals, you mean...
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement.
Isn't that like reverse nepotism if you don't get a benefit but instead get a detriment as a result of your lineage?
Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals.
Ooh.
They fared well.
I really don't like that name at all. It's like, imagine the ultra-right wing. How did the liberals win it all?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended.
Isn't that the same as winning in that case?
Head, remember?
Yeah. Oh, I remember. Unless you shot me in the head, then I don't remember. But also I have amnesia. Retrograde encephalopathy.
We. She's one of them. Of course.
If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to?
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
So you just said the liberals already took everything.
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition
took the ground.
Took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people.
You took the ocean. Who are the coalition?
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-le-Clay, the armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
Was it? It sounded like they got a lot of power out of it.
There is bitterness in her voice.
Oh.
Tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
Did she mean moralist or moralist?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights and not shooting people in the head.
Keeping everything exactly the way it is. So they believe in conservation. Does that make them conservatives? Do they think we should go back to a golden age when everything was just better, but actually it was only better for certain people?
At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
Okay.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the
Zoc.
RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
No, I have amnesia. I'm not anything. I'm deciding what I am still.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
If always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything, then hell yes I am. Wait, if always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything... Is there a word missing there? And also not. I'm gonna go with that, even though it's confusing.
Almost endearingly moralist
Oh
standpoint.
no!
It must be hard to take a moderate approach to head shooting in your line of work.
No, I'm trying to take the non-stand version of centrism, where it's not that I've decided I haven't decided. I'm deciding that I'm still not deciding yet. Does that even make a discernible difference? I don't know what I just said. When was this kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question.
Okay.
The revolution began in 02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
We didn't start the fire. Yeah, I think, what was it, Rush had something to say about that. That I still have made a choice. Who started it?
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which
I
the
hate
authorities
those.
in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government.
I don't want prion diseases. Get those out. What did it do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
No way.
Indeed. Zarat is a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Wait, hang on. Back up a second. Who was infected with Sarath? The authorities in Grad provided unable to contain them. Mazov came along and overthrew the government. I'm drawing a conclusion here that they're trying to make a parallel. Maybe. But I'm not sure if it lines up actually or not. That's an interesting one. Where did it spread from there?
Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world
No, I
managed
don't mean
to
COVID.
cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in 08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
I'm trying to decide if they're saying that conservatism is caused by a physical virus.
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Yeah, I said what came next. Raincoat flapping in the wind. She spreads her arms.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
Our lives are very different from each other.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
I've never put it together until just now when Miesel said that both sides have a physical ailment that they point to as a sort of a dismissal of the other side's opinion. Brainworms and woke mind virus thing. Like, that's such a weird state to be in. No doubt we share this time and position on planet's crust that counts for more than you think. What happened to the rest of the world, or what is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations.
Interregnum,
And
that's such a good
of
word.
course, the citizens' militia.
Man, this game would help you with your vocabulary if you're seeking to do that anyway.
The clatter of typewriter keys, fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter.
Such a Chad.
Officer Elfboy
Williams
slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
I want to talk to Elfboy Williams.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
Okay. What happened to the rest of the world then?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-easlary communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
That's like a vocabulary check of a sentence right there. Modernity, they developed the marvels of intersolary communication, telematic milieus, radiation-colored plastics. It's been like this for how long exactly?
43 years.
Dang.
Hard to fathom, I know.
What have we been doing all that time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19 was simply hell.
And after that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Is there like a flow of history that explains what happens in the long-term series of events with an area or government that decides to become a tax haven? Is there a pattern that we can point to that goes, when this decision is made, often this is the outcome afterward? Because it does seem like a lot of these things do flow down the same paths a lot of the time.
Then you happened. Your youth in the 30s.
Oh no, Measles knows what I'm getting at. Check out the Kansas experiment. I'm very ignorant when it comes to a lot of this stuff, so it may even be obvious. Interregnum is when normal government is suspended, like between regimes. Oh, okay. That's a very clear definition, actually. I get what that means. Rich fuckers get rich, poor stay underpaid, but maybe slightly better, but now gentrified. So the actual poor get obliterated, though. Very poor with handful of amenities, but worse off long term. Anytime there's gentrification, the people who are struggling before the gentrification get pushed out to a place where they can't even survive anymore, usually. Unless the government can subsidize them to find a way up and out of that. But usually the goal seems to be to just keep pushing them around until they go away. That's when they discovered disco.
Yes, and quantitative easing. It was a market mirage, unfortunately. The 40s dispelled it. An Isola-wide hangover, you might say. So, here we are.
I was so sure that we would eventually learn that disco was very important to the storyline somehow, but I didn't think it would be financially. I knew that we'd get some big answer about it, but I didn't think it would be that specifically.
Welcome to reality, baby.
What a truly interesting story this is. My goodness.
From the looks of it, the 50s haven't been much better for the zone of control. You can see it in her eyes. Days slipping away.
Oh, that's just a joke? Like you said disco is the answer, and she went lol, yes, but also. Oh, I just misread it then. I thought it was like a shorthand for saying, and culturally everything came to a head. And disco was like a stamp we could put on it all. Disco is very important, though, you'll see. Okay. You don't seem to be thrilled.
I've no right to be dissatisfied. This shirt is Barbara Muscova. This raincoat is impervious to rain and is guaranteed for 100
years.
My daughters will wear it. No, it's just...
She looks at the crumbling tenements, paint flecking from the stone. Paint, sorry.
We could have had so much more. Every one of us.
Yeah.
If only we played it right.
Oh, I feel like that all the time. We have all the tools, we have all the resources, and we have all the understanding we need that we could be living in a utopia. But we simply choose not to do that, so some can be incredibly rich while everyone else suffers. And that's incredibly frustrating. To just keep facing that every single day. The same story repeated over and over again, mirrored 100 different ways. What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done
Brains or
differently?
neck?
No, her first.
I asked you, who are you in all this? I would have sought a medical solution. Sounds like Sarath drove those people mad. I would have killed more, 400 million if that's what it took. I would have made off with the mineral rights. I don't know what I would have done differently. No, I asked you.
And I asked you.
That's not...
Taskless detective of the Citizens Militia. What insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Out of all those options, the only one that I find appealing other than I don't know, which is the real truth. If there was a medical solution, that would have been nice, because it's compassionate to treat people for medical problems. Simple as that. I'm gonna guess they did seek a medical solution and there wasn't one, though, so I don't know how useful this is.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion? A complex folding protein, unlife, with a technology 50 years ago.
Well, I would have employed Sony PlayStation 3's folding-at-home protein synthesis modeling. When enough gamers harness their power, they can support Doctors Without Borders. Fold enough proteins, save the cheerleader, save the world. That's what I would have done. With some hygiene, modest social care, and perhaps a little research program. That's it's very quaint. Liquidate the rabid prion-invested dogs. Oh no. We want to kill everyone with cleansing artillery fire. Ugh. We gotta stop calling people dogs and vermin and shit. It's not okay. With privatized healthcare and a work ethic that does not turn your brain into spongy tissue. I like that one. Okay, maybe it's impossible. What happened had to happen. It always will. Let's go privatize healthcare.
A poor remedy for prion disease. That was the attitude of most of the more moderate Indo tribes, particularly those who supported the king.
Who cares? But that's... you asked what I would do, not what did they do.
Kupri, Resplendent, both gone now. Those that survived mended their ways. They're all ultras now.
Yeah, please explain to me the detriments of privatized healthcare.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
Thanks, Kim. Keeping it real, as always.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
I am not at liberty to say.
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Wow.
Understandable.
That's enough about the times.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality.
Yeah, I was being ironic when I said he was keeping it
know?
real there, but then he did keep it real immediately afterward. Is there anything left to know?
Now's your chance. Ask her who she is. She won't get out this time.
I want to know what you are. She hums.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
Say nothing.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants.
I did not expect that. So she's actually introspective?
I am an ultra.
I want to hear her define what an ultra is herself, then.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind.
Oh, she wasn't saying that genuinely. Without the context of the next thing she said, I thought she was actually saying that, but I think she was saying this is what people consider me to be. Unless I'm misreading it again. Not the moderate kind. Cool, I liberate pretty hard myself.
No, not like me. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp who pushed the king under a shitwagon and betrayed the revolution.
But I still can't tell if she's doing that thing or not. She's talking so hyperbolically that it sounds like she's saying what the other side describes her as, but maybe she just is saying that?
Are you liberated enough to offer up your home on a plate for financial colonists? No, I think not. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire.
I can't tell what she thinks she is, really, from what she said. There's this thing that happens when you discuss the back and forth of sides and how people take meaning. Eventually, you've heard so much of it that it sort of loses meaning. And everything has a kind of sense of irony to it where you don't know, is she serious? Are they being real when they say this? Or is this a projection? Is it, you know, self-flagellation? When is it genuine? And once that happens, it's almost impossible to ascribe any meaning to anything anymore.
Forgive her. But only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light green eyes.
I forgive you, but only because you're charming. Hey, it's Lynn. Thanks very much. My lovely wife has resubscribed for 132 months. I'll just forgive you. It's easier to forgive.
I do hope so. I do hope we're able to remain collegial despite it all. Tell me, when you look in the mirror, do you not see a monster staring back at you?
I did look in the mirror in the last episode. What did I see? It was a mess.
When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future.
And then they added Ultra?
This was all our last generation managed.
We're discussing very in-depth political points of view about the world of Disco Elysium here. It's surprisingly interestingly nuanced. Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinaise a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
Lynn, we are so Mac. Look at that. You got one of those fancy new triangles that I just built the other day. It's resplendent.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinaise. And not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
It was designed to have more transparency, though, so the glow looked like it was more glowy. It looks more opaque than I would have liked.
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isola down rather than let them have it.
I don't know. I'm not really into burning stuff down very much.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
You have daughters?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
I never said where are we? I thought I started with that. Belongs to Cop Infraculture. Yeah, let's try what is... Think of something close to you.
6 kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinaise?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again.
Is this a metaphor for the prion disease? Is that... Are we drawing a parallel there with this flowery kind of poetry here?
We always do.
What am I?
You? You're an officer of the RCM.
She says energetically, the Revachol Citizens Militia, yeah.
Preciso mundo.
Good, and what is the Revachol Citizens Militia?
Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
Sure.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
He's being sarcastic.
You said de facto?
Yes. That means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law,
Oh.
both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin.
So we're unilateral. What do you mean?
The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
Wow.
All 3 are good to know when we are out policing.
So basically, I'm a thrall to foreign interests. Yeah.
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it.
I'm an officer of the status quo that doesn't have a vested interest in the literal physical position that I live in. So I'm, like, inherently a sellout by virtue of this trade arrangement.
Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of
I've heard. And I can kind of understand why they would feel that way if I am an agent that is acting in the best interests of people not here.
The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river.
Heard that.
Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown.
What is a nuclear pile meltdown? Does that sound is that as bad as it sounds? A nuclear pile?
They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
Oh wow, this place is not in a good position at all.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue.
Do they, though? I don't really understand Kim's role in this, because it sounds like he understands everything as well as anyone could. but is still sort of okay upkeeping a status quo for someone who isn't them. But maybe he sees it as like we play both sides. We act like we're acting in the best interests of the foreign interests that keep us, but we're also really looking out for ourselves as sort of double agents for the people who live here, even though everyone hates us here.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority.
I can't believe I just had this conversation with her for like 40 minutes. Thank you, ma'am.
And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well... That's
interesting, but thank you, I think. She bows and smiles. Where are we again?
We're in Martinaise, baby.
And what is Martinaise?
Martinaise is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the
I hope you're not sick of this. I really enjoy this, actually. I'm loving hearing the nuance.
And Jamrock.
I didn't think there would be as much here that I could access, but it's being described in a way that I'm getting bits and pieces that are adding up.
You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
Tell me about an even more fundamental aspect. Now, tell me more about Martinaise.
I'm not a good ambassador.
Oh.
I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders.
Yeah, what is that with the boys with boxy shoulders?
A brief spike of longing in her upright body. The dots under her eyelids shake.
This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets.
I haven't even seen the reeds yet, but I've also only walked about half a block. You were here as a teenager?
Yes, I was slumming it with some girlfriends of mine.
Ah.
We had boats and... Don't hold it against me. The boys certainly did not.
Right, so the girl with the red paint that was calling her all sorts of names. I mean, she's kind of stepping into that sort of posh identity with that line. What sea is this?
It's not really a sea. It's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean.
But, well, are we near the ocean? Yeah, I would presume so, based on
Yes. We're on an island in an ocean. The world's largest body of water. The Insulindic.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues, the blue immensities.
It's a lovely description.
Vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
What's the name of this island?
Caillou. Imagine
right.
a pebble. A smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea. Misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the River Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch. The Martinaise distributary.
She is very knowledgeable, I'll give her that.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her.
Right. How do you mean?
And to humanity at large.
Oh. Kind of want more about that. Okay, that's Martinaise. What's Revachol?
Revachol? Revachol is what you call a city.
What kind of city?
The great kind.
Oh, good. What do you mean by that?
It's self-explanatory. Beyond patriotism. A fact.
What makes it great?
History, detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries.
I want to see the third one, but that continues, so I'll get there. Okay, but who built the city?
The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile-Marat, depending on your creed.
Okay, I'm trying to put the pieces together to understand why this city would be so strategically important, but I don't know if I can retain enough knowledge yet. When was Revachol built?
In the DeLorean century. 380 years ago.
We have to go back, Morty. And why will it resolve history?
They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest.
Says that?
The fault lines deepest.
It's very flowery. It doesn't really help, though.
By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts.
Yeah?
The stuff of men.
Yes, why here? Content.
We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island, able to sustain up to 200 million people.
Oh, we're the port that leads to everything
Indic
else.
Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is.
So we're at the center of the world.
Oh, we're quite a way off.
Oh.
About...
Oh, she points across the water where the skyscrapers rise.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government in Cylindian Mission Command.
Man, this is a really wildly detailed world they've built. Look to the sea.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time.
Where are we?
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
She watches you closely as you scan the horizon.
This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
I don't know what was the RCM again is there. I guess it's just going to reiterate stuff, but it's new, so I guess it's not reiterating it. Okay, I'll hear you out.
Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of
Let's hope this isn't a loop.
post-revolutionary Revachol, detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
He's being sarcastic.
Okay, it is a loop. Do they want me to do the other side of it? Are we?
We are.
Oh. We are.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin.
That's it for the who I am part, then.
Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are to me is the police, the only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help.
We're gonna take a 3% chance. If I do this, I catch a shiny Pokemon. Here we go.
A strange
I did
coldness
not.
comes over you as you look at the world. The waves sway the sloop slowly.
Scoop the sloop.
That's all.
Grab the goop.
It's on the tip of your tongue. A doubt of sorts already in your head.
Why did it
But
say...
it's not fully formed yet. You have to wait and return to this later.
Okay.
Once the jamais vu thought is complete.
Why did it say I could retry this because it was a white skill check, and then immediately after doing it, it said I can't retry it? I feel like I missed something there. I guess that's all for now. That was a hell of a conversation. That's maybe the longest I've ever talked to an NPC in a video game.
Glad to have been of assistance.
Oh, there's more!
The little that I know. Anything else?
When you add a point to the stat or get other bonuses, you need to improve the stat. Then I can retry. Okay, let's do it. Another hour on Joyce. Tell me about Wild Pines.
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
So what do they do?
The Pines' core competency
We make
is
pine
logistics.
cones.
Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing.
Oh.
See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things.
So you're like the international moving company I hired that assured me that I paid all of the duties and tariffs, and then when I was to receive all of my belongings on the other side of the trip, I was informed by Irish immigration that I would owe another $2,000 or 2,000 euro in VAT. You're like that. Thanks, Joyce, for all that. I really appreciated that.
And that is the terminal. Another
I'm not
subdivision
bitter or
deals
anything.
with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain.
I'm sure that they needed the money more than I do. Honestly, it's like when I go to Tesco and every time I go to get groceries, they raise the prices another, like, 50 cents to €1 for each thing. I just figure, hey, Tesco must need this money more than I do. And who am I to stand in their way? I don't want them to suffer. Who are the other Indo tribes?
Saint-Baptiste, Elysium, an
Lum.
unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
Oh, that's, LUM, what is that? From Human Murmuration, from Archspire. They're like these floating humans that they're trying to turn into some sort of cosmic entities or something. I think they're called the LUM. I don't remember what it stands for, though. It is a great song. That whole band is a great band. You're 10 minutes into Lauren's Lure, and it's amazing so far. Great. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I will be streaming it at some point soon. Possibly tomorrow. I'm not sure when. Definitely within this week, though. Or the next 7 days, I mean. Oh, AUM. I'm thinking of AUM. That's what it is. I was actually, like, sort of into the lore of that for a minute, and then I just forgot the letter. You're in good company.
Why, thank you.
I'm surprised anyone knew what I was talking about at all, to be honest. It's a very specific thing. She's not registered the real meaning of the remark. How much money does the Wild Pines have?
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
That's a little bit, yeah. I don't have that. It's Eperion Universal Migration. Oh. I like when he does the lyrics like a machine gun. The money I owe is so much less than that. I'll just say it, who cares?
Past a certain point, numbers begin to seem imaginary, but they are quite real for the 72,000 employees who depend on Wild Pines for their paychecks.
Well, at least you don't work for Microsoft. You'd have 1,600 employees left by now.
A conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving and growing, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It is a tremendous responsibility.
Oh, you still care about those? I thought it was like, eventually it starts dying anyway, and you just kind of throw them off and say, oh, well, you figure it out, I guess. It's your problem now. Where do they get all these billions?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when Pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
Probably helps to start out with a... I feel like she's going to be mad at me if I say that. What does such a huge system want with a place like this? Well, that might be elucidating more to do with how commerce works, so let's hear that.
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners?
She gives you a little smile.
8% of the world's cargo.
You don't keep it moving, the workers do. The company is nothing without them. Yo, I'm in.
We built this district.
Who is we? Are you privatizing the winnings and collectivizing the losses right now in front of me, Joyce? Is that what's going on? I will not take this lying down.
We. There it is. She owns up to it.
Gonna post pics of my little base in Subnautica, by the way. Nice. Glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, you may end up with several bases eventually. It's good fun. You get to kind of branch out.
All the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, with its bastions. The plazas Meteor and Mosaic. Even some of the old street lamps have been put back thanks to the investment.
I didn't expect the whole session just talking to one NPC.
Before Martinaise was swallowed by the industrial harbour, even before it was part of Revachol, long before Terminal B was erected here, the Pines built it as a resort for its Revacholian employees.
Revacholian. They should call their employees their pine cones.
A company getaway, for a weekend or a summer holiday. Then came the revolution. But that's another matter. I'm here to make sure the Pines can fulfill their responsibilities to the place they built.
I remember back in the mid-2000s, or early 2010s, as it were, somewhere around there. One of the bigger problems that we seem to have in gaming was, what's up with all of these games that start with like an hour-long cutscene? And we were really mad about that for a while. Like, what's up with Metal Gear Solid 4 and their really long cutscene? I just installed it and it took a half an hour and now I've got to watch this? Why are we mad about that? If you don't want to watch it, well, do something else, I guess. But don't you want the lore of the game to be presented to you in some way? I also understand the feeling of being impatient at times, but I feel like you can pick and choose what things you're interested in, right? And if that doesn't sound appealing, I don't know, don't do that, I guess.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Maybe it was a boring cutscene. I seem to remember being relatively entertained by it, though. Actually, I think what it was is, now I'm thinking back more carefully, I think it was a series of cutscenes that kept making you think you were about to hit the main playable part of the game, and then you'd go back into another 20-minute cutscene. And that was kind of funny. But it wouldn't make me mad. It would just make me go, oh, you. Oh, no, no one's complaining. Everybody's fine. Now I'll say you're on a boat.
Why, yes I am.
Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cor de Leyte 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
Good sloop.
The word, it, feels strange. Such a beautiful boat.
I've never been into boat culture, so I never really had a strong opinion about how to name them or what they should be named or what. But yeah, I mean, they are often given women's names. How do you like it? No, I feel like that's too dismissive. What kind of boat is it?
It's a pleasure craft. A 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing.
Wow.
Though these days I mainly use it for business.
Business or pleasure? More like business and pleasure. How do you like it?
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
The eel's hips? Oh, they're so squiggly.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Is that your way of saying, I'm done with this shit? Can we get on with it?
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Not a lot of people on boats, are there?
Of course there are.
Oh.
We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
Well, you could just cloister yourself into the archipelago and never leave. Just stay on an island and not travel. That's one way. Just use your legs or a bicycle.
There is a pinch
Built
of
for two.
defensiveness in her voice, but it is playful.
What do you mean, archipelago?
I mean, we are on Le Caillou, are we not?
Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Oh, well you should, because that sounds fun.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle.
Yeah, see, Kim didn't do it.
It's for crossing long distances in a greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
No, he likes his car.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for
Wait.
crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
I feel like we've gotten off to a bad foot suddenly. Bad foot? Wrong foot? Nobody thinks anyone's stuff is a toy. We're just talking about vehicles.
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich.
I do? Yes, I do.
You have the guns and the ammo. Take this Clausen fiend down.
Let's talk about the economics of this boat.
Oh my, the E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class?
It's a symbol of our subjugation to foreign capital, the bad kind of capital.
Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional negotiator.
He doesn't look like he thinks you'll best her in single combat.
Then what does that say?
She points to a plaque on the side of the pier.
Reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A. 33A, this old proletarian haunt here. As I said, plenty of people drive boats, of all social strata.
28%. It's the eel's heels. Let's try it. Failure.
She takes a sip.
It's gonna happen.
Okay.
Something is about to happen. Point to your head in here.
Of course.
Nothing happens for quite a while.
They will come from my head, the arguments. This is, again, it's like a Bernard Black line. Wave your hand next to your head. It will help.
It doesn't.
Oh. Waving slowly now.
My. It's as if there's a tiny spinner on the side of his head and he's reeling thoughts out.
Cool.
Except he isn't.
The lieutenant is satisfied with where this is going.
A thought is going to come out of my head and into my mouth, and I will say it.
Of course.
Keep doing
Lieutenant, I truly don't understand what is happening here.
it. Damage morale. My spongy morals.
I told you his methods are unconventional.
Fuck this, I'm out. I swear to God, I'm usually sharp. I don't know what happened. Why am I not killing it?
Your marbles on glass, dear. Don't worry.
What were we talking about anyway?
It was quite a while ago, but I think... Yes, we were discussing my fast, large, ineluctably middle-class boat.
Ineluctably middle class. It's like we were having a showdown about who was the bigger class trader. Do you have a license for this boat?
Officer, I assure you, I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
Yeah, I do kind of suspect you probably do have a license for the boat.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass her further on
It's a thing? There's an act that says you could just have a boat? Alright. I think I have a handle on the boat thing. Conclude.
Good.
We can come back to, can I have some money?
Voila, you're doing it.
Can I have some money, ma'am?
Of course. How much do you need?
What? It works like that? Wait, when does it ever work like that?
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. If anything, your finally asking it has relieved some of the tension.
Okay, well, 130 was the debt, right? So that would be just fine.
That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
I didn't know you were gonna judge the amount. If I had asked for 1, would that have been... She'd be like, oh, that's not... Ask for more. She reaches into her raincoat and pulls out a zip bag. In it, you see paper and notes arranged like black gills. Interesting description.
She removes a few notes
Well,
and
there we
hands
go.
them to you. The paper is cold and oily to the touch.
Now I can pay off my debt, I guess, and I don't have to worry about whatever that means. I mean, I don't think they were gonna, like, come after me, but it did also seem like if I didn't pay my debt, I couldn't stay there anymore, so maybe I'll have somewhere to sleep now.
Whoa, whoa! Did you see how easy that was? Ask her for more. Toot toot, train to Moneytown.
No, let's not get carried away. 'Twould be dishonorable, and mine honor is my life.
Can you eat honor? Are you an omnivore? Give me a break.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
I'm still getting my head around this whole money concept. You were just helping me out.
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, unseemly as it may be, as long as they are properly logged with the precinct.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its salaries?
What can you tell me about the strike?
Everything.
Oh.
Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
Those you need the badge for, I've heard. Geez, remember when I found out I needed to find my badge to talk to her properly? What day was that? What if I want to hear about the trade secrets?
First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus.
Oh. How do I repeal it?
Why? By throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the Coalition. Unfortunately for you, the Coalition also leases you the right to police West Revachol.
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words.
So we don't slay the octopus.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike.
What is your role in this?
I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
I see.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a
Oh
week
my
ago,
God, it's
after
all
that
coming
awful
back.
lynching took place.
Oh my... Okay, so... The economics of multiple regions depend on me solving the lynching, and in order to solve the lynching, I need to figure out the drug trafficking, which is also why the bridge is up, to stall people from leaving the island. It's like a knot. Well, it is like a knot.
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Tell me more about the behemoth.
What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant.
No.
I guess that's part of their big tent organization now.
Big tent. That's where they keep the circus, isn't it? Where the ringleader moves the clowns around. How were the talks going before the lynching?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
2,000 years ago.
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
Partially frozen bay.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after
Oh.
Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
Whenever I hear someone like that named Mr. Clare, all I can think of now is like a tuxedo cat named Mr. Clare. And then I just see a cat in my head, and my brain stops working for a while.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
What happened to this Gaumont?
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it?
She pauses to compose herself. At least she doesn't decompose like that corpse.
Fuck off, midget.
Oh!
Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Not cool.
Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union.
What are their demands?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes, every worker, a member of the board.
Oh, so it's like Valve.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Over-aggressive, commie posturing. Seems like they have no idea about business. I like it.
Then you might also like their other slogan. Demand democracy.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Personally, I don't think it has the same pizzazzo as every worker a member of the board.
What exactly do they mean by it, though? What's the demand?
It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about what? About anything, really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinaise terminal.
I can see why that would slow everything down a bit, yes.
Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
Well, that sounds like the ship is too slow to steer at all, and the ship needs to be split into about 100 smaller ships, maybe. A fleet, in fact. It's pretty funny, I have to admit.
They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution.
What are you gonna do?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again.
Oh no. We've descended into memeing.
And now, people are getting
Yeah,
lynched,
that's not
I
good at
hear.
all.
Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Man, I did not expect this tiny framing that we started at would expand so tremendously over the course of only less than 10 hours. I don't really think I've ever seen a game do that before like that.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyar at the gates.
It's a
the one
boyar.
whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
Call me tomorrow?
This checks out.
Tell me about the union boss, Mr. Clare.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost
Yes, because his little
integrity.
tuxedo
If you can
top
say
hat.
one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Oh, of course he does.
Of course not.
Oh.
Everard is fantastically
Oh, no.
corrupt. I imagine he has a thick,
Bad kitty.
viscous goo where you and I have blood.
Oh, that's a bad kitty. Is he that bad?
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living.
No.
If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Oh, the Clare brothers.
Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his
There
brother.
are 2 of him?
Except for that lazy eye. He
Oh.
also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits,
Wow.
you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
Oh, no. What about the union itself, outside the
The
brothers?
Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act. But they did it. I can respect that. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
She hesitates, looking for the right expression.
A mob. The debardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother.
She turns to you.
And your opinion, detective, if I may ask. I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Debardeurs Union is...
An effective advocate for the rights of local working men, a giant leech sucking the life out of Revachol, basically a socialist mob. Ooh. It's a tough one. Well, my opinion on this particular union does not necessarily reflect my opinion upon unions in a general sense. You know, corruption's corruption, even if it's off the back of something that should be better. It seems like they're a leech right now, yeah.
Indeed. And a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for two decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers.
One more thing, you said something happened in the elections?
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman.
Right, there's two sides to every story. I'm still only hearing kind of one side so far. I say kind of because I don't know exactly how Kim works into all this, but he's had pretty reasonable takes so far as I know. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous foreman of the union. She disappeared. Oh no.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Some kind of extortion, probably?
Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could do. It was a union matter.
As I said before, you need oversight in all cases.
The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
I see.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Right. That's all I need here. Let's change the topic.
Of course. How else can I help?
Could that be the end? I've got more questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality?
Nope. No, we've done them all.
My favourite part of the day. Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
Were we talking for like 5 hours? I believe it. Thank you, that's all for now.
Of course, detective. Take care.
I genuinely thought it would never end.
Wow, you work hard.
I do?
Oh, yes. You hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide.
What hard work do I do exactly?
Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic,
right, I did solve a lot of cases
and
before this.
linoleum after you re-emerged. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride.
I'm not sure I ride.
Oh, you do.
Oh.
You make money. You got gills,
what?
baby. Meaning those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco Negros and the Solas. It ain't easy, but you do it.
What
day
is
in
this?
and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop and a sprinter.
And a money printer. I mean, I did take that bribe from the Joyce woman, yeah.
Oh yeah, you took that bribe hard. You're a killer.
I guess I made some gills, sure.
Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, ride or die. Now, ask yourself, are you rich?
No.
That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that?
The system is broken? I don't know. Why am I so poor?
Because of the taxes.
Oh.
G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze.
Yeah, I do sometimes occasionally get frustrated with taxes.
Aren't taxes almost non-existent in the Gossamer state that is Revachol?
I don't know. Really? Every time I sneeze?
Every time you wipe your ass.
Wow.
They got their direct and their indirect.
Well, you do have to pay tax on toilet paper, don't you?
Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax.
Thanks very much, Jax the Axe, for the 21 months and 3 month streak. Thank you, thank you.
There's the stuff people in other countries pay for that makes them ask for more money from you. Here, total tax duties add up to 98% of all your money.
Wait, so if the government takes 98% of my money, then they should be obligated to take care of me. Are you sure? That seems like a pretty big number.
What are you not sure about? They're milking your nipples.
Oh no, that hurts.
Can't you see? Aren't you sick and tired of having bloody nipples?
Yeah, I gotta jog a bit less in the cold. Bleeding nipples are kind of a pain, but how will deregulation help with that? Opt in, but only a little. This isn't helping me solve my money problem, it's only making me into a free market type opt-out. Wait, this seems backward to me. I'm not sure I understand. How would becoming a free market fundamentalist result in there being lower taxes? I thought it's the other way around. It's trying to turn you into a libertarian. Oh, sorry. No, you're right. I understand. I got it backward in my head for some reason. Oh, I hate this. I'm gonna have to pick the middle one.
It's all about the tax issue, hustler. No other problem in the world is as pressing as top marginal tax rates. And don't you fucking forget it.
My actual politics are like heavily regulated capitalism could potentially work a little bit better than it's currently working. It's just we're not regulating it. We're not taking it seriously. Way too much shit's going through the cracks. I don't think that is the best solution, but I think it's the closest to the one we could possibly enact in our lifetimes.
Guillaume Le Million.
Whoa.
Bad news.
That's a picture,
Guillaume
alright.
Le Million did not become a cop. In 1938, he went on a tour to the Sinyao province in Safre, where he died of autoerotic asphyxiation. His body was found hanging from a decorative dragon tree.
Okay, sorry, I mean regulated in the other
drug
direction.
Paraphernalia, unwholesome objects.
It's
and
regulated the
Sylvia
wrong
Trainer
way
symbol,
now.
Wonderland skipping in the background. And yes, you can take this as a metaphor for Revachol in the 30s, and also as a warning.
Yeah, the artwork's fantastic, I agree. And the little guy gets smaller and smaller as you rise above the dollhouse world. You see him out in the snow on the streets, in the shop on the corner, and finally in a matchbox house sitting by the window, white flowers on the windowsill. You can smell them from up here. It's awful. A white morning, a modern death, divorce, or something similar. All you can do is put more distance between you and him, make him smaller, make him less you. What am I supposed to do with that information now? It's telling me I've got 2 skill points. Is that one for each? There's something she wants to tell you. You just have to present her with your badge to hear it, or perhaps if you did her a favor, she could waive off the formality. Whatever the case, you need to know what she knows. Jam mystery. Someone's using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients of drugs into Revachol. Joyce said there are 3 drivers at the intersection. Talk to them. One of them must know something about the drug trade. That sounds like a whole story in and of itself. Oh, I thought it wanted me to do something on that page still, but it sounds like I'm just supposed to apply my points here, more so. I'm enjoying my rhetoric bonuses, largely. Yeah, the lorries are gonna stick there for a while, I'd say. See, hear, smell everything, let no detail unnoticed. I like having decent perception. I think I'll put a point into that. Authority is low. Taking a lot of hits to my authority, actually, based on my decision so far. Logic. Raw intellectual power, deduce the world. Right, I guess I can leave a point alone, if that's a smart thing to do.
Hey. Psst.
Who, me?
Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again.
How come there's a word on the street?
You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real
I keep saying that?
Pocket. Literally murder all human beings.
What on earth?
Regardless of their political beliefs. That kind of stuff.
I don't think I've gone that far, no. Oh, they're trying to find my barometer, aren't they?
Oh yes, the mask of ambivalence. Don't deny it. You're about
They're
to
set in the
rip it
window
off
right
and
now.
reveal the monstrous seven-eyed lamb of global communism.
Holy hell,
that would
seven-eyed
devour
lamb.
And masticate mankind.
Masticate mankind.
Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it?
Yeah, tell me more about communism.
Failure. It's about failure.
Failure?
Yes. Abject failure. Total, irreversible
I want to see how you
defeat
frame
on
it.
all fronts. Absolutely vanquished. Beaten. Curb stomped and pissed on. Until you came along. You will reverse the fortune of the workers of the world. You alone. Against every living thing. Against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city blocks of bankmen who have the ears of prime ministers. Million-headed armies of nations and the love of your own mother.
I wonder if deep down at my core, I can't ever commit to either one side or the other of these ideologies because I just don't really want violence. And it seems like when you get to either end of the spectrum, it's like, oh, we should sodomize the landowners and impale everyone. I'm like, I don't really want to hurt people if I can avoid doing that. But it doesn't sound like you can avoid doing it if you want to go that hard. So then I'm reduced to where then in the barometer can I fit? And maybe, ultimately, I'll never really want to affect change if I can't really commit fully or something. I don't know, I just really don't want violence.
You against the atom, the charm and the spin, where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly, will rebuild the dreams of the working class. You are the last communist.
The only time I want violence is to stop violence. Which I know is, like, it's naive in a way. I don't know, maybe it's not. Idealistic. Creeper! Thank you very much for the 5 community gift subs. It's very much a generous act of yours. Thank you for that. They went to Graphic Violets, Solar Nick TW, Rat J, Lutzi, and Phantom's Power. You can, in fact, become an extreme centrist, yeah. I don't really want to be a centrist either. Violence where no one has to lift a hand explicitly to cause it is poverty. Now I don't really like what I've just said.
Now get to work, comrade.
Alright, I'll communist then. Let's do that.
Get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready.
Shut up. Roll up your sleeves. Roll your sleeves further up and breathe in the pristine air. Finish thought. I recommend committing to at least one political belief, because they each relate to substantial side content. Okay. Man, life sure is complicated, isn't it? Save. I have a lot of thoughts that are probably not easy to pull out of my mind suddenly with regard to a reaction to one thing that's happened in the game. And I think whatever I say is going to become a little bit of out of context information without a broader spectrum of ideologies. I'm highly anti-fascist and probably a bit socialist. It looks like there was more construction here once decades ago. What I need to do is pay off my debt. Who's that? Oh, we're on the other side of the fence.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep?
Yeah, that's right. That's what we're here to do. We're gonna slit your throat.
Error. She's not sleeping right now.
We got ya.
Pig's come to take me out. Trying to snuff me out.
Are you sleeping right now?
Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. You think you're so clever.
Okay. What's over here? A garden house. Or hose, sorry. This won't be of much use until the snow melts. I actually don't want to be here yet. I'm gonna go pay off my debt. I have to take quite a strange route to get over here. Or to get to where I was, I mean. It's like very loopy. Just to get to the other side of a fence. Who's that? It's all about money, you know. You gotta spend money to make money. Do you make money while the sun's shining? Money is what really matters. No, it's not that I'm intending to leave them unpopped, it's that I just want to do the thing in my head before I go in 800 other directions is all. I'm very easily distractible, so I want to just do the thing before I forget.
Can I help you?
So about the money I owe.
Yes. Have you got it?
Have the money.
Well?
Here is 130 real. Sorry for the trouble.
Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to make sure I dealt with that, because I did trash their room.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make sure you're not angry with him.
It's good you paid before 9 p.m., or your door would have been locked electronically.
Oh. Jeez, I was close. Taps his foot against a metal box installed. I didn't even know it was keeping track of that.
Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
Okay. That's a little more attainable.
I'll take a room here too.
He opens his wallet.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
By the way, I'm going to sing karaoke here.
Absolutely out of the question.
Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad banger. Then we sing this place to shit.
He's so determined.
Your body is ready, sire.
Sire. Okay, that's all. There we go. You need to find 20 real to pay for your room at the Whirling, or you'll be locked after 2100. As long as you don't have a free place to stay, you have to do this every night. So it's possible to find other places to stay. I didn't even know that was a thing. This game's wild. It feels like truly your decisions matter in a way that most games don't really have. Maybe there's still an artifice to it. There probably still is, but it feels more free than most. Get in front of Kinema's headlights and read the halogen watermarks in the ledger. Yeah, we did that. We got a reality lowdown and more. And so we're going to leave points to attribute as we see fit. Does that mean I'm still staying in that horrible room? Inside you catch a glimpse of Union paraphernalia, a strike poster, some red pennants. I thought it was the color blue. Why would it be red? A bottle of rum has been knocked over. Beautiful dark liquid is spilling out. Sleeping dock worker. A man is sleeping at the table wearing mud-caked boots and rolled-down overalls. The back of his shirt reads, Wild Pines, encircled by a logo with a tree.
On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine.
Lieutenant, who is this?
No idea. Looks like he works for Wild Pines, the logistics company who owns and operates the harbor.
But why is he sleeping during the day?
Possibly because there's a strike going on in the harbor. There's not much to do aside from drinking and sleeping.
Pick up the pills.
The man does not mind. You probably need them more than he does.
You've just picked up some magnesium. This item is stored in the bottom left corner of the screen above your character portrait. Use magnesium to heal your morale if you have morale damage.
Yeah, I have been taking morale damage. I'm gonna need some orange soon. 17% to wake him up. Let's try it.
There is only one way to wake this bone idol from his slumber. Roar like a hurricane. Rip the buildings from the earth.
No words, just a primordial scream.
Why the yelling, man?
The 30-something man slowly lifts his head and gives you a pensive look.
Looks like a Sow descendant. A lot of Sow dock workers around.
You're alive. You looked out for the long count there, or I just wanted to see what would happen if I yelled, or I need you to answer some questions right now. I'm gonna say the first one. You looked out for the long count.
Wait, what? I was just sleeping. What do you want, officer?
He seems pissed off. Why are you sleeping here while the others are out striking?
They got it. Messier's got it. He's guarding the gate. I'm just getting some sleep. Or was.
What about the dead body in the yard?
Yeah, what about it?
You seem cool with it. Do you have many of those hanging from trees here?
You know, people die here every day. Someone's found in a ditch, another one falls in a manhole, a third one gets eaten by
There's a lot of
dogs.
people getting eaten by stray dogs here.
If someone has decided to die on top of a tree, then how is it my concern?
Someone has to look into it. Looks like I'm that someone. Tell me what you know.
I can tell you this. Trouble's ahead.
What trouble might that be?
You heard what I said. Draw your own
Is that a threat?
conclusions. That's all I know, and I prefer to keep it this way.
The lieutenant gives you a little nod, then makes a note in his blue notebook. So Union people think he was a killer, he thinks. Even sleepy hair. This doesn't help a lot, but it's something. Good work, detective.
Yours points at the bottle and the spilt rum.
Indeed. Help yourself to some. Wait. No. Oh, it's empty. Sorry about that, pal.
How about the Wild Pines?
That's the name of my employer. I work in logistics.
He doesn't sound too enthusiastic about this.
How's that going?
How's it going?
Lets out a big yawn and stares at the cafeteria's terrace doors. Some fingerprints glisten on the glass.
Haven't you noticed what's going on outside?
I've almost never been outside of this building.
Good. We're in the middle of a strike down at the harbour, trying to force some sense into the executive board of Wild Pines. For one, I could use some more shut-eye in the mornings. Right to work, right to sleep, I say.
Who's behind organizing the strike?
We are. The workers. The union. We know what we need. What's right for us.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense somehow.
Okay. I guess there's also Everard. He's in charge of the union. He's smart. Knows how to negotiate.
I hear he's infamously corrupt.
He's got our back.
Or at least I've heard that from someone who might have a reason to be misdirecting about it.
Thank God, no.
Haven't seen anything interesting in your dreams, no? Tell me, was it a bliss free of X somethings?
The worker stares at you, his eyes dry from sleep. A web of wrinkles covers his tanned forehead.
He just wants to go back to sleep.
I don't know what you're talking about, kind sir. But when I'm out, then I'm really out. No X anything. Just quality time.
A little me time in the abyssal pelagic zone. You can never return to it now. Only detective work remains. Wakefulness and detection.
Alright, I'll let you sleep.
The dock worker doesn't answer. His head is already back down on the table in sweet sleep.
For being apparently very drunk and also just was asleep, he seemed to make a lot of sense, mostly. Was expecting more nonsense out of him. The dishes are drying. They smell of chemicals and pine trees. That's a logistics company. An aroma of spices, alcohol, and tomato hangs in the air.
A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. This must be the Whirling's cook. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely foreign language. The only words you can make out are Garancy and Kubek.
This guy's name is Hot Mug in Polish. Oh.
Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Garancy Kubek. Please. It's not funny.
Hello, sir. Got time for a few questions?
The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air.
You got some impressive pots there.
He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn.
Yeah, they're good pots. Well
it's
done.
Almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling and simmering on the stove.
Okay. I don't think I need anything else. Stay masculine. What a line.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue. You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue is for mystery.
Blue is for mystery. I wonder where this door leads.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads?
It's part of the whirling in rags. There's something about this place that makes me want to know. Out of duty, we may find something pertinent to the investigation.
Yes. I suppose it's worth seeing if we can get in. Just to be thorough. As a side investigation.
The door and the main investigation will merge into a stereo investigation.
If you say so. Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
Yeah. Try to push on the door?
The door does not budge.
Touch it too.
The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The stainless steel door is flush with its frame on every side.
I tried to open this door like 7 times in my first playthrough. I hate it. Oh, we're getting in. No worries at all. I have extremely high perception. I will figure it out. I must know what's on the other side of this cobalt blue door. Still screwing around with that bird. I saw another thing.
Another thing. Great. I love those.
There's a mysterious blue steel door in the back of the kitchen.
Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door.
Do you know what's behind it?
No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. It's just a frit warehouse, probably. Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust. Junk and dust.
I don't want to torture Kim. I want to make his life a little easier if possible, but I'm not doing a great job at that.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
I think you'd like to know what's back there.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one locked door in one of the cafeterias I manage.
Fair.
So, I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so good luck with that.
I saw a sign that said the mess hall is reserved for the Union.
Yes, not the whole damn Union, thank God. Just the nastiest and loudest faction.
He tosses his head in disdain.
They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types. Think they're big shit. But they're good
big
customers.
Shit.
They place big orders and always pay.
Yeah, well, they're gonna be
on
big
time.
shit if they place big orders, aren't they?
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info.
He gives a meaningful nod. How do we find them?
We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry, even men on strike.
Right.
You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Huh.
Hold your peace, best not to nitpick.
Was there something else? Because I have coasters to stack and glasses to clean. Apparently, that's what I do now.
Tell me where the key is.
Yes?
Goodbye. What's that? Oh. Apparently I can take that. No Safed? Oh, what's up there? Pressing these tab buttons more often. Free money. If you hadn't told me that there's no stealing, I never would have taken any of that stuff. I'm used to this sort of temptation in RPGs. Oh, more free money. So I'm accumulating another night's stay. It's like doing those Google surveys I was talking about the other day. They pay slightly better than those, actually. In this game, I mean, it pays slightly better. Any other tabables here? Let's talk to her again.
Hello again, sweetie.
Okay. No, I thought she'd have something new. I could buy the map now. I thought it was more expensive than that. I wanted the one for Revachol, and she would only sell the one for the other island. The tourist thing. Find a way to the whirling secret passage. Find out who is in the union box. You had a circle by your head when you walked by the table there. Oh, sorry. I missed that. I was too excited to get to my destination. Oh, yeah.
That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed.
Oh, no.
Joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already?
Not now.
Oh, excuse me. Do you have something better to do than lust for sweet syrupy rum and lemonade? With a twist
I'm trying to
lemon,
solve a freaking investigation.
Maybe lime. Maybe who cares? Just rum.
Finish thought. Okay. Dude wants his alcohol, I understand. Okay, this is gonna sound really dumb, but is it possible that now that I'm looking for my badge, that it was in my room the whole time and I just didn't know to look for it then, so it wasn't there? I don't know if that's a thing. I'd also love to clean somehow.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours.
No.
Kim also tries not to look at the pile of taped viscera on the carpet, or the weird suitcase on the hat rack, or the potted plant dying in the corner. But it's all just too morbid to ignore.
I did it my way. I'm sorry
No problem,
for this.
officer.
He takes a step toward the door like he'd like to leave. What's there? Oh. Empty cassette case. That might be useful. Or at least it's something I can pick up.
The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind blows in. The morning light hurts your eyes. It's hazy, but you see the ocean and some war-torn buildings.
It's not morning. But okay. Oh, thought. Words fail to describe how rank it smells in here. They should have sent a poet. No, I'm trying to click on this.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Use your chain cutters to fix the faucet. Oh, 3%. That's not very likely to happen. Tool not in hand. Oh, we could fix that. Now we have that. Don't really know how the chain cutters are going to fix anything, but...
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall.
That's a little
In
better.
It, your face, adorned with the expression.
It's like almost 1 in 3. Let's give it a go.
The chain cutters slip out of your hands as you attempt to twist the faucet into place. Well, you know one thing for sure. You've probably never been a plumber.
I would have thought it'd be very lucky, but, you know, could happen.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall.
Oh yeah, I can come back later. I could also put a point in now if I wanted, I understand that. I'll let it be. Don't suppose there was anything else outside. I was kind of motivated to come in and leave quickly here last time. No. Nothing at all. I still can't get over that strange name, Whirling in Rags. Hopefully I can buy myself a bag at some point so I can go clean up all these bottles and get paid for them. I'd like to clean up anyway. Even if I don't get paid for it, I'd want to clean up. It's time to save. And I think it's time to conclude today's session. I know this was a heavily lore-based session. But I wanted to really hear her out and get all of the bits and pieces I could put together about the community and the economy and the world as a whole. And I think I learned a tremendous amount from that. They're all lore-heavy? Oh, okay. Well, it seems like you're enjoying my playthrough of Disco Elysium. I might try to get another session in before Saturday. I do want this not to take 6 months, if possible. But I also have a ton of other stuff to play, too, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to maybe get 2 sessions in a week, if possible. So everybody is happy with that. I hope it was enjoyable. I had a great time playing it. I didn't think I'd like this game this much. As I said at the start, I have not changed my opinion.